everybody. Just waiting for my tablet to restart. Alright, I want to talk about trusting the process. Right, my heading for today's sermon is next level or nothing. Right? Otherwise, if we don't go to the next level in our lives, the next level in our walk with God, that if we don't change, it's nothing. What is the point? Because eventually, if you stay the same, you just regress. Cool. Alright, if you turn to Hebrews chapter 11 in the Bible. Verse 1. Okay, this thing's messing around. Can somebody read it for me? Verse 1.
I'll read.
Okay.
Now faith is being sure of what we hope for, and certain of what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for.
Okay, that's fine. And then read number 6, verse 6. No, Hebrews 11, verse 6.
And without faith it is impossible to please Him. Whatever would draw near to God must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who seek Him.
Alright, so basically it says in verse 1, faith is in believing in something that is not seen as though it is seen. And in verse 6 it says, without faith it is impossible to please God. Thank you.
Okay.
Now without faith it's impossible to please God. That doesn't mean God doesn't love us anymore if we don't have faith or anything like that. I want to give you a little example of what it means to please God. If my kids play rugby one day and they score a try in the match, I'll be very well pleased. But if they don't score a try in the match, I don't all of a sudden not love them anymore. If they score 2 tries in the match, I'm even more pleased. If it's 3, if they're man of the match, you get what I'm saying? Now without faith it's impossible to please God. We all have this works doing kind of thing to be accepted. Right? It's up to me, and if I want to be accepted I have to perform and all these kind of things. But all God says He wants is you to just believe. Is to just trust. Trust in the process of Him working in your life. It doesn't have to make sense. Just to trust in Him that He knows what He's doing. And then God will be pleased with us. You see, faith is trusting in the unknown. It's trusting in something different and trusting in something new. If you want to change, you'll have to do something different. You'll have to do something new. You might have to do something that you don't know how. But you can't do that if you don't trust the process. Tammy's real. So. We can't keep reacting to situations in our life the same way we've always done and then be miffed if we haven't changed. God grants us these opportunities in our lives to prove that we have changed, so that we can just put a bit of faith in Him in the process He takes us through, so that we can be pleasing to Him. She really likes that word. Okay, if you really want to know who you are, you're going to have to trust the process. If we really were in control of our lives, why are we here today?
Screwed up.
No. So you're not in control, right? Now as soon as somebody tells you something different than what you're used to, they're automatically wrong. But you've proven up to now that you are wrong.
Amen.
see what I'm saying? It's a crazy thing, but then everybody else who gives you some other advice, no, they don't know what they're talking about. How can I say I don't know what you're talking about, if you don't know what you're talking about, if I don't know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm saying, but you don't know what you're saying either. So I'll just keep doing it my way, you do it your way, and then we'll see where we end up. See, the biggest problem we've got is we are trying to skip the pain. That's it. Why do we get upset? Because we don't want to go through the pain. It's uncomfortable. It's not fun. So you can never, ever, ever base right or wrong on your comfort or your pain level. If I went through the pain in my younger years and dealt with that, I would probably never use drugs. But I was trying to skip the pain all along, and it just kept me stuck in pain. Over and over and over, but I'm trying to skip the pain, because if I use now, then at least a little bit of pain's gone. If I go and drink it out, if I go out with friends, if I date this girl, if I get that job or whatever, I'm skipping the pain. I should have just gone in and faced it. Can you organize this dog? Oh, job. Discipline those you love, hey? You see, life has these unwritten, unrealistic rules. Pressure on us to perform. Who says that you have to get married before you're 30? Right? I don't know. Name the person.
There's a few of them, yeah.
Right? And then there's someone else who says you have to get your degree before you're 25.
The world.
Society.
How do you know what you want to be when you're 16?
Amen.
Flip, you're still a kid, man. You know, my whole life I was trying to skip the process. When I was 16, I wanted to be 40, and now when I'm close to 40, I'm going to be 16. Skip the process, skip the process. You can't fast forward success. You can't sidestep it, you have to go through the process. If you want to get to the next level in your life, you have to first complete this level. Right, you know, if you play arcade games and you want to get to stage 5, you don't go from 1 to stage 5. If you fail on stage 4, you do stage 4 again, and again, and again, and again, until you get to stage 5. Life's not a wishing well, guys. It really isn't. If your friends are more successful than you are, be happy for them. Don't let their success be pressure for you to perform. I only knew what I wanted to do when I was 27. Up to then, I kept looking to my friends, seeing all the success they've got, own companies. You know, these guys are got big houses, all these kind of things. I'm stuck in rehab, living in this silly little room, driving a blue Golf, which I still drive, which is awesome.
Amen.
Right? And then I keep comparing myself, and what do I want to do? I want to jump out of the process because I want to be like them. But I'm on my own timeline. So are you. Now at the age of 35, I have to restart my life again because God said so.
And go through the process.
And I have to go through the process. So that means going into a small little flat again, going into this, going into that, fine. It doesn't mean I'm unsuccessful, it doesn't mean I've failed. I have to have faith so that I can please God. If He said go there, I must do that. Stop trying to skip the pain, people. It doesn't work. We've proved it up until now. You know, it would be ideal if we could have steak every day. Right? It would be ideal if we could shower as long as we wanted to the Jericho. It would be ideal if we all had PlayStation 4s in our room. Right? What else would be ideal? Swimming pool.
Underfloor heating.
Underfloor heating.
Spa.
Right. Now let me just challenge you a little bit, right? If your addiction, your drug of choice was for sale at the tuck shop, would Jericho suck so much?
Wow. Jeez.
Yes.
No. Look, I'd have to phone more often for your tuck money, but I wouldn't say that much.
Then you could do the, then they could do the 3-minute shower and no eating.
Yeah, you can do all that.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't want to shower because it interferes with your using time. Oh, look, I'm going to smoke a lolly now, I'm not going to shower. So now we fast forward to over here. Your drug of choice, your addiction is not available. This place sucks. It's the place. Or it's the people. But it really is not.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yep.
Good preaching.
Trust the process.
Amen.
You see, if I was a kid and I want to stick my finger in the plug, my dad would go and draw me this whole electrical engineering diagram and explain what the difference between AC and DC voltage is and what this is and what neutral is and what light is and what the earth is so that I can understand that I'm going to get a shock. If I try to put my finger in the plug, my arse got it. Do I understand it then? No. Now that I'm grown up, I know trusting that process saved my life. But we all go into situations in our lives where everything has to be explained to the T and you need all the information, and then you'll say, okay, yeah, I don't really agree with that and that's why I'm not going to do that.
Preach it, brother.
But the end result is change. Just because you had a different idea of what your consequences should be in your life doesn't automatically make me wrong or someone else wrong. We have no say in our consequences. I don't know if you guys know that. They happen. You guys know what the consequences of having sex is? A baby. Right? Now, whether that child succeeds or fails, we don't know. It's still the consequences of that. It can either be a curse, it could be a blessing. I don't know. See what I'm saying? So now, if you smack somebody in the face, for argument's sake, and then you go to court or when you get locked up and then in jail bad things happen, and it's not that person who instigated the fight's fault. It's you that smacked him and the consequences happen. You have no say over it. That's how life happens. And then we feel like we're the victims because it shouldn't have happened like that, and that's not what I intended, and that's not this, and that's not that. But can you get to a place where you can communicate your intentions? Yeah. Are you there? I don't know, you'll have to answer yourself. But if my intention is not to hurt somebody and my action says different, then something's up. If I think I'm fine and everybody else says I'm not, something's up. Not everybody else is wrong. I never. You see, there's this amazing thing that happens when we let go. And only then can God be God in your life. I don't know if you know this, but God believes He's God. It's us that don't. He really does. It's a scary thing, man. Okay, trust is a choice. If I'm not trying to skip the pain, why won't I choose to trust? No reason to. But as soon as I'm afraid to get hurt, or afraid to be vulnerable because it might end bad, or I'm not sure what the outcome's going to be, then I don't trust. But as soon as I trust, yes, people will hurt us, people will betray us. But check this out, I have this approach when it comes to leaders and stuff here, to believe the best. Right? Not think the worst, to believe the best. So if Jock hasn't done something, I'll not automatically go and check Jock and this and that and what. I'll be like, there must be a good and reasonable explanation why this didn't happen. Because I trust him. And that does wonders for the relationship. Sometimes he misses it and he just forgot something and then okay, cool. But there's no distrust. You know, if there's a good enough reason in a situation like that, why not accept it? Believe the best. If you've gone through relationship after relationships, people have cheated on you, you've cheated on people, you've been hurt, you've been betrayed, all these kind of things, and you go into a new relationship, as soon as that person doesn't answer the phone, what's the first thing you think? You automatically place distrust in them, you think the worst.
Sure.
Then that person comes to you with a good enough reason why they didn't answer the phone, and you don't accept it. It's not that person's fault. So I carry this stuff over because I've never gone and faced and completed the process. I am the common denominator of all the crap in my life.
Amen.
Not the situations that I've been through. Some of them sucked and weren't fair. But if I handled it correct,
Things might have been different.
completely. I used to joke around and say, I'm not the kind of guy that makes the same mistake twice. Do it like 9 or 10 times, just to be sure. And that sucked. I don't care where you're at, if you're not trusting, no relationship will succeed. If I'm not ready to give and only give, I can't enter into a relationship. I'm not talking about any relationship, not even just romantic. Because it's about giving. As soon as I start taking, you deplete the relationship. Amen. With my wife and I have to give to meet her needs, and she has to give to meet my needs. I can't take from her to meet my needs. If I live for her and she lives for me, it's automatically fulfilled. But as soon as I start taking, it'll be chaos. And you get to a place where you start understanding things. It's like if Vasily Lomachenko had a boxing fight last weekend, right? And if I go to Jenna, I'm like, yeah, this happened and this and this and this, and she doesn't react like, oh, that's freaking awesome. She's like this. Oh, that's nice. Okay, I'm happy for you. Cool. Right? I can't be upset because she responds different than what is in her nature to respond. She's just not interested in it. Now, if she watches a TV show and she's like, this and this and this happens, I'm like this as well. I'm like, yeah, it's nice, eh? Very job. Oh, yeah. She can't be upset because I'm not interested in that. I don't have an expectation on that. I just want to share what was important to me with this other person that I love.
Nothing, the other stuff doesn't really matter in it at all.
Doesn't. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't, Josh.
Sure.
Trust the process. Some things don't make sense. It's fine. Close your eyes and go through it. Stop trying to skip the pain. And I guarantee you your life will change. Alright, let's pray. Father, I thank you for the short, sweet message, Lord. And I really pray that we become aware that you are with us in the fire, and that you go before us, and that you're in everything with us, Lord. I thank you that you say in Romans 8, verse 28, that you work all things for the good. And I really pray that we'll allow you to just be God in our lives, to work the things for the good, so that we can become who you want us to be. I pray that we can come to a place where we just start being trustworthy and also trusting with other people. And not keeping a record of wrongs, Lord, because that's when we get offended and automatically we turn back to distrust. In Jesus' name. Just one more thing, man.